The cinema. What do you mean by cinema? Cinema has different names. Cinema can be called as movies. Why do you call it movies? You are trying to say it's a movable picture. It's a picture in motion. Motion pictures, movies, cinema, films, all these are connotations used to define cinema. What was the impact of cinema? What is cinema? Where did it start? So the first initiation was based upon the stage dramas that used to be held long back in ancient cultures. They said, if those dramas can be held, can such dramas be conducted somewhere and recorded on something? So they started recording on recording discs of variety of kinds. It can be cassettes, it can be CDs, it can be DVDs. Now different technologies they used to record it. What did they do after recording? What are we doing after recording this? We don't have an audience of 10,000, 15,000 here, but the moment it goes on the YouTube, we get about 10 to 15,000 people watching it. How did we get it? Recording it. So these people, they developed the recording techniques to record whatever data they wanted to communicate to the audience which is not present there. Through this, they developed the cinema. What did they do in the cinema? So in cinema, for the first time, a person by the name Edward, he kept still cameras, the photo cameras that we have. He kept photo cameras in a row, one after the other. And from each camera, he took constant photographs of a running horse. He captured from the still photographs different actions of the running horse by keeping cameras a little far from each other, and that he developed into a motion picture slowly. This is how the history of cinema begins. But this was later by Thomas Edison. See, he kept so many cameras. Now Thomas Edison, who is supposed to be the inventor of more than 2,000 things of the modern science. Thomas Edison, what did he do? Thomas Edison, he developed or manufactured or invented the first single device to record motion known as kinetoscope. This was the first device that he invented to record motion picture. And after that, the film industry changed forever. From this developed the other camera which we know as the cinematography camera. Who developed it? Lumiere brothers. Lumiere brothers of France, they developed it when? In 1858. I'll just tell you the history. You see, he started in US, it came to France. You know, from France, it was taken back to USA. How? Europe was developing films, and their films were becoming popular. The first film to be shown in public was in Germany. In Germany, they showed the first film in the 19th century, and after that, the first commercial film was shown in the USA, in New York City, in the 19th century. In 1895, the first time Germany showed a film. 1896 in the US. And then by the time the World War took place, in 1914 to 1918, the First World War happened. In First World War, Europe was engaged in the war. By then, the technology of cinema, it got interrupted in development in Europe. America picked it up, flourished in America. And it was Griffith. Griffith was the first director of a film in US on a mass level whose brainchild is the Hollywood. The Hollywood that you have today is the brainchild of director Griffith. When he established Hollywood, Hollywood went through 4 phases. The silent cinema, the classical Hollywood cinema, the new Hollywood cinema, the contemporary Hollywood cinema. 4 phases in Hollywood's development. It started with the silent cinema. What would they do in those cinema? So the historians tell us today that Hollywood served 4 main purposes. Remember, these are very important for you to realize what's happening in the world today through mass media. The 4 purposes of Hollywood were, the first and foremost purpose of Hollywood was to establish Western democracy in the world. Make sure that any program they make on Hollywood platform, it shall be a reflection of Western democracy in the world, indoctrinate the minds of the masses that it is West that is the best. The first and foremost purpose of Hollywood, Western democracy. The second was slapstick comedy. What is slapstick comedy? It's a new form of comedy invented or more popularized, not invented, more popularized through the Hollywood using Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin was a Jew. He was used by Hollywood to popularize slapstick comedy. What do you mean by slapstick comedy? It means a comedy where physical action is more than the voice. Charlie Chaplin used it. And even in that comedy, the fundamental purpose should not be lost of maintaining Western democracy. The third were all the musical shows. Musical shows to invite the youth to be modern through music and dance, to forget all those religious principles. See the way the youth today, the men and the women, they indulge in illegal sexual activity according to any religion of the world. Even according to Indian law, indulging in sex before marriage was not considered legal. But now even having a wife, then having somebody as your partner, live-in partner, having a child through her, no problem in India anymore. The Indian Supreme Court law, it says that if you have a wife, but you, in another place you have a woman whom you have kept as a keep, which in the sophisticated, she's a keep. That keep in the sophisticated terminology today is called a live-in partner. What do you mean by a live-in partner? Meaning I'm not married to her, I'm just living with her. While living with her, you get a child. And when you get that child while living with her, that child is equal in the rights to the child from your wife. So having a child from her, living with a in a live-in relationship with another woman other than the wife, Indian constitution has no problem. Having a second wife is a problem. Same thing in USA. You go to USA, you go to Europe, live-in partners, with the wife you have live-in partners, no issues. No, they have, wife you can't have. I say, stupid people. What is the difference? So legally, every religion of the world, whether it be Hinduism, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Buddhism, whether it be Jainism, whether it be Sikhism, whether it be Judaism, whether it be Christianity or Islam, as religions, no religion ethically or morally permits any man or woman to live as husband and wife relationship without getting married to each other as husband and wife legally. When you get married, announce it to the people that from today, she is my legal wife. From today, he is my legal husband. Unless you can't live now. But what happened through the Western music culture, they promoted the concept that love is natural. So anybody in their teenage can fall in love with the opposite sex. It's natural. You don't need to fall. It happens. There is nothing to fall in it. When you look at the opposite sex and the opposite sex looks at you, there are many things in human psychology of attracting towards each other. So you don't need to fall and break your faces. It happens by itself. But that should be promoted. How it should be promoted? No, don't talk about marriage. They are okay. They are human beings. They want to involve in sexual activity. Let them enjoy it. Safe sex. See, otherwise you will go with AIDS, use condoms, use eye pills. All promoted through the mass media. So what happened? Now they say the HIV cases in India have got reduced to a major level because of the promotion of safe sex. And what does Allah say? Allah say the safe sex is only with the wife. Allah says safe sex is only with the husband, because any other sexual activity will lead you straight into the hellfire, and if you are destined to hellfire, then you are not safe. So this concept changed. This concept totally changed. And what they did through musical shows, they promoted all sorts of music and dance, saying that with music and dance you can relax yourself. See, you go into a pub or a club, you dance with a partner. There are many pubs and clubs in India and abroad. Whenever I go to Ireland and all these places, there are many pubs. In Ireland, I was surprised. I was living in Dublin in a hotel. Just opposite to my hotel was 2 to 3 pubs and clubs. And suddenly, on the Tuesday night, I witnessed girls who must be studying in their 8th or 9th standard in their schools. All of them are lined up and they have 2-3 men who are guiding them to go to the club. I asked the brothers there, I said, what is this? So they said, the government, it educates the school-going children about the ethics of going and staying in a pub. So the school teachers have brought them how to go in a pub and what to do inside the pub. This is Western. Why is it promoted? Why is it promoted in the teenage? In the teenage, your graph of adrenaline level, it keeps bouncing in your head. It is at its peak. It keeps attracting you towards the opposite sex. So the more you are thrown into that activity, the less you think about Islam, the less you think about government and its policies. You are engaged in your lusting life. You don't have time to think about, oh come on, the whole week I am busy, so it's a weekend. For a Muslim, how can you have a holiday, man? You have not fulfilled the job of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you want a holiday? You say, I want leisure. What leisure do you want? What did Allama Iqbal say? Waqt fursat hai kahan, kaam abhi baki hai. He said, you Muslim, you are talking about leisure? How can you dare think of leisure? The leisure of a Muslim is only in Jannat. The Prophet never took any leisure. The Sahaba never took any leisure. How can we munafiq take a leisure then? If we say we want leisure, we are munafiq. We can't be better than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Sahaba. They never took a leisure for the cause of Islam. And that is what Allama Iqbal is saying. Waqt fursat hai kahan? Kaam abhi baki hai. Noor tawheed ka itmam abhi baki hai. Where is the time to leisure? There is so much of work to be done. The tawheed of Allah has to yet be established on the face of the earth. No leisure. But now what happens? When you are engaged the whole week in some busy work, you are given 2 days as weekend. So in weekend, come on man, enjoy yourself. Come on, forget all that. Enjoy yourself. So what is the enjoyment? This is how Hollywood promoted the musical shows. And the fourth most important job of Hollywood was the animated cartoons. And Walt Disney is the biggest name there. Every cartoon, many Muslims do not know this. Every cartoon on the television, it indoctrinates the Muslim child to think on any other side except Allah as As-Samad, meaning the one whom we need and the one who needs none. Look at the Muslim children today. They talk about Chota Bheem, they talk about Shaktiman, they talk about Jian, but they don't know who is Allah. These are our children, Muslim children. These are children born to Muslim parents, and it's a shame on the parents that the parents utterly failed to introduce the creator of your child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a shame, man, it's a shame. Our children, they talk about everything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These four were the purposes of establishing cinema in Hollywood. And look at all the cinema through Hollywood now. Look through this explanation now. Every cinema, every entertainment, every program produced from Hollywood will work on these 4 lines. The first and foremost, Western democracy. The second, any comedy promoting Western democracy. The third, musical shows promoting Western culture, Western lifestyle, promoting Western lifestyle as liberalism and progress. The fourth, your cartoon shows indoctrinating your kids to think in the Western style. And the Lumiere brothers, when they invented the cinematograph, within 6 months, do you know which is the second destination they traveled in the world? They traveled to Bombay. And it is their travel that gave birth to Bollywood in Bombay. Bollywood, what is Bollywood? Bollywood is a combination of 2 different words. Ball is from Bombay. Wood, Bolly is from Bombay. Bombay was the previous name for Mumbai. Bolly from Bombay, wood from the Hollywood. Bollywood. And do you know the biggest film production industries in the world are Hollywood, Bollywood, third, anybody can guess here? Ah, Tollywood is no comparison. You will be shocked if I tell you. The Nigerian film industry. Can you imagine a country which starves, full of violence, and shamefully a Muslim country? A Muslim country, Nigerian film industry is the 3rd biggest industry in the world. Of these 3, the biggest viewership is Bollywood. And Bollywood does not mean all Indian cinema. It merely means the Hindi cinema. When did it start? So Adarshi Irani from Iran was a Persian, was a Parsi. He produced the first film, which was the talkative film called Alam Ara. But before that, a silent movie. In 1913, Dada Sahab Phalke's movie called Raja Harishchandra. That was the first movie in 1913. Do you know by 1930, how many films were produced in India every year? Can you imagine it? 200 films were produced in India every year by 1930. And what would Bollywood do? Bollywood was influenced by, now look at Indian cinema and the impact it had on all the Indians, worst on us Muslims. The Bollywood, it evolved itself around Mahabharata and Ramayana. It evolved itself around Sanskrit, Rahasya and Natya. Rahasya and Natya, Rahasya is story, Natya is drama. Drama and story followed with music and dance. The third is the folk stories, meaning folk stories. There was a person who lived like this. He used to live on a mountain. He used to stand on his feet. He used to fly in the air. All folk stories, mythological folk stories. I'm not talking about stories. The Bollywood evolves around these themes. The fourth is the Yatra, showing all the pilgrimage sites of India where Hindus travel and promoting it through Bollywood. The fifth is the Western style of music and dance. The sixth is the cartoons animated in the Western style. And the worst of all in Bollywood is, the pioneers of Bollywood, the forerunners of Bollywood when it was established, a majority of them are Muslims. Astaghfirullah. You want me to name them? The first most popular actress in Hindi cinema, Fatima Begum. Nargis, Muslim. Madhubala, Muslim. Meena Kumari, Muslim. Wahida Rahman, Muslim. Dilip Kumar, Yusuf Ali Khan, Muslim. Amir Khan, who is the great grand nephew of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad is the great grand uncle for Amir Khan. And Maulana Azad is an Islamic scholar, a reputed Islamic scholar loved by all Muslims around. Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, filmmakers Asif, Kamal Amrohi, Mohammad Rafi, singer. And these people not only came into the limelight of Bollywood, they had an impact on the Muslim mind so much that the Muslims, they follow them, astaghfirullah al-azim, as if we are following our Prophet. Nauz billah. Anything that they do, the Muslims are ready to do. Shame on the munafiq. Shame on the munafiq who hold musical shows in Ramzan in Hyderabad, and they are Muslims. Rafiqi Yad, may night. Rafiqi night. Who is this Rafi? He has such a big name, Muhammad Rafi. Of what use is his name? He has the name with the name of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And look at the songs he has sung. Look at the vulgarity in the vocabulary of the songs. खुदा भी आसमान से जब जमीन पर देखता होगा, मेरे महबूब को किसने बनाया सोचता होगा. And the Muslims praise him. They think him to be the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauz billahi min salik. Astaghfirullah. How many names? How many names? Parveen Bobby, Zinat Aman. All Muslim families. And Muslims respect them. Masses respect. Yusuf Khan. People don't want to hear negative about him. About Dilip Kumar. They have photos of Dilip Kumar. They have Salman Khan with a salam in Ramzan. Astaghfirullah. A person who is worshipping Ganesh and saying, I don't merely believe in Allah. And Muslims take him as an icon. Why? You have forgotten your Sahaba. You have forgotten your Awliya Allah. You have forgotten the greats of Islam. What has gone wrong with us? Look at the impact of cinema. Cinema has spoiled the masses throughout the world. Why did it spoil? Because you and me failed to promote this. It's not their fault. Allah says in Surah Baqarah in one of the ayat that the disbelievers will not be pleased with you unless you adopt their ways. You know what is the tafsir of the ayat? The tafsir of the ayat is the natural laws set by Allah. Allah set a natural law. What is the natural law? Either the disbeliever will work on you to convert you on that side, or you will work on the disbeliever to convert him on this side. If you fail to work, the only result is you will convert on that side. We stop working. We stop working. And now you expect Allah to help us? What greater shame can be on us? What greater shame can be on us? That from every corner in the world, we are at the receiving ends. For anything wrong that happens, you are the one to be blamed.